Business Theater Live, wow, very exciting. Here I am, very grateful for this opportunity to speak to you about a topic I can actually tell you I know very well. And made even more exciting to have been introduced by somebody I've been married to for 21 years, Jenny Butts. As God is my witness, I have always referred to Jenny as my wow girl. You've met her, very charismatic, very articulate, very smart, and sometimes so beautiful I actually turn my head to the side and say, that's just stupid. It's true. I can also tell you every coin has two sides, and the flip side to that, wow, well, that's wow in its own right. But I would rather have 20 minutes of wow than 20 years of mess. So Jenny, I'm very thankful to you. I'm also thankful to you for my entire introduction because, well, I'm stealing it from you. You see, Jenny is a professional speaker, and I am not. And something she learned very early in her career was some people need a moment to just get over what they see and the assumptions that come with that. So she is free to step aside from the podium, and she says, you know what, let's address that and let's take it in. This is real, these are real, I'm rocking this, here I am, let's move on. However, I'm very aware that it takes all of about 2 seconds to drink in all 5'7" of me. And my entire fashion mantra is, let's not be too matchy-matchy. Yet, I am talking to you about a topic, and that topic is failure, and I'm telling you straight up from the beginning, I know failure. And I'm not talking about moral failure or catastrophe from outside that befalls us at different points in our lives, that rock us to our core as everything around us fails. No, I'm talking about failure, the type that we write with our own hands, done by our own doing. A glorious opportunity placed in our hands that has been dropped. We biff it, we blow it, we miss expectations, we fail. And so I can only imagine you're thinking, great, I have paid money to listen to a professional failure. And I can imagine that's not terribly encouraging to you today. So I would like to eliminate or minimize that preconception by just taking a moment to talk to you about my success. In 20 years as a working professional adult, I've actually enjoyed a good deal of success in not one but two careers. First, as the founder, owner, and operator of a very large catering company creatively named Tony's. And after 14 years, I very successfully sold that company in 2010, took a teeny bit of time off, and re-emerged as a residential specialist working for Windermere Real Estate as a broker, representing buyers and sellers. From August of 2010 to, God willing, at the end of 2014, I will have successfully closed $60 million in residential real estate. And I have enjoyed the tokens, the accoutrements that come with success. They're my details. There's no bragging here. I have saved nicely north of 7 figures. I own homes in downtown Issaquah and Scottsdale, Arizona outright. I do not carry a mortgage. I've paid cash for the last 3 cars that I've bought. I owe no one anything. And perhaps most telling, in the very wise words of my successful sister-in-law, I wake up every morning, I don't wonder what I'm going to eat or what it's going to cost that day to eat. I know success, and I am neither ungrateful nor crass enough to say all of that was a mistake or an accident or somehow I was chosen, I'm special. I don't believe any of that. I do not believe success is finite. I don't believe it's like some gorgeous huckleberry pie, which I cannot eat anymore, beautifully cut into 6 slices but surrounded by 10 very large salivating people holding very sharp knives and forks and they're desperate for their peace. I don't think of it like that at all. I'm here to tell you, I have actually my whole life anticipated and expected success because I believe her way is simple. I do not believe it's a secret. I believe she is not subtle and tells everybody, here is the path to success. And for me, I believe it is simply getting in touch with your God-given passion, extracting that, aligning that with hard fought for, finely honed skills, and then working like a fool to seize absolutely every opportunity that comes your way and celebrates those two things. That is success, and so therefore I believe it is not finite. I believe it is fluid, and it's wide, and it's deep. At times it rages just like a river. At other times it's calm and rather still and reflects everything beautiful around it. And I believe success calls all of us. There's opportunity for all of us. Some dip their toe at the shore. Some wade a little deeper, and some of us just get buck naked and we dive head in. And then there are the details. I would tell you that failure does not simply share in the properties of success, like it's just the inverted, the opposite properties of success. I don't believe that at all. You're coasting, you're floating down the river of success, and failure is that submerged boulder that you don't see coming, and when you hit it, it has the power to literally knock the breath out of you. And it has the power to shame you. It has the power to say, oh, you of passion and skill, what a fraud. You've blown it, you've biffed it. How about you head on out of this stream because there's no more room for you here. Better yet, dig a hole and go hide. Or at the absolute worst, just quit altogether. That is what failure, when it's done at our hands, does hold the potential for those of us that have not learned that actually failure can be a great friend and an even better teacher. If you will allow it, and I am speaking from a place of knowing, if you will allow it, in the moment of your most embarrassing failure, you have missed a deadline with great consequence, you have underperformed, you have underdelivered, or God forbid you've delivered the entirely wrong product altogether. If at that moment you can very quickly catch your breath, you will see that failure says, I am about to show you who you are, and more importantly, who you are capable of becoming. Again, I'm just going to say, if you will allow it, failure has the power, the call, if you will, to show you who you are, and more importantly, who you are capable of becoming. You know, I've been equating success to this river, and I've been telling you that I've enjoyed my journey down this river to date. You know, I can't tell you the single most successful thing I've ever done. I can't tell you the biggest client that rewarded me the greatest amount of money. I don't even think like that. It's fluid. It accumulates, but I can close my eyes right now and take you back to a Saturday evening in March of 2009 at the Bellevue Regional Library on 112, where not for the first time, but for the sixth time, I have been called in to cater for the King County Library System their annual benchmark gala, where 350 people have paid an obscene amount of money to rub elbows with 38 very well-known, some world-renowned authors. And I can tell you on this evening, as I'm bringing you into the store, the hors d'oeuvres have been tray passed, and the wine has been consumed, and the beverages are out on the table, and it is quickly approaching the moment of showtime, the moment of truth, the moment of the plate up and service of a very formal multi-course dinner. And as I had done for not 1 but 5 years previous, I take my position as the owner, again this company is called Tony's, as the owner of this catering company, and I am right at the point where the production line meets the service line, meaning not a plate is going to go by without passing these very passionate, skilled, discerning eyes. And when it goes well, it hums like a beautiful machine. This particular evening, I am looking down to the key of the production table where I see 350 plates, and I am waiting for that stack to go away where I can breathe again. But I can tell you there's a point on this night where my hot entree folks are no longer reaching under the table to pull refills from the Cambro, yet the plates keep coming. And very shortly after that, I can tell you, my glorious gnocchi prep cooks are no longer reaching under the table to refill the plates, yet those plates keep coming, and very shortly after that, my sweet pea melange, there is no more, and yet the plates keep coming. I am about to fail, and it's going to be public. Just in case you think I have to take you to March of 2009, I can also take you to June of 2014. Somebody has referred a client to me. We'll go ahead and say her name's Teresa. Well, actually her name is Teresa. So Teresa has hired me, a passionate, skilled real estate broker, to not find her any house, to find her and secure for her one very specific house that is literally across the street from the townhome she owns. In fact, she's outgrown that townhome, and she wants this house, no other, that is twice the size of what she was living in and has a beautiful view. And Teresa has said, in a crazy, if you will remember, crazy white-hot seller's market, can you help me put together a winning strategy, because this is the house I want to own? I said, you've come to the right person, Teresa. I give her a quick snapshot on what has happened in that market and how brutal it can be for a buyer. I educate her on how her financing is going to be both critical, yet we will not attach a financing addenda. I educate her on how attractive it is to a seller to waive earnest money, $30,000 of her hard-earned earnest money to be released to the seller should she be chosen upon the moment of being chosen. We have pre-inspected at the expense of $500, and we are ready to go straight to pending. I know what I'm doing, and I am a certified negotiating expert, so we discuss price. What you need to know is not even 5 weeks earlier, the house, same builder, same size, same view, the house 2 doors over closed for $50,000 less 5 weeks earlier. And Teresa wants this house, so I have said, we are going to have to be in this to win it, and it's going to come down to price. Anything over $700,000, my friend, you will be paying a premium. And she says, I would like to offer $725. I say, oh, Teresa, you are talking to an expert. I am telling you, I can get you this house for $719,000. Trust me, I can do this in my sleep. I am that passionate and I own it that much. And she does trust me. So we submit a gorgeous offer with all of those things that I just laid out for you. The minutes turn into hours, which turns into the next morning when the phone call comes. The seller regrets to tell you they've gone a different way. And I say, I am so surprised. Can you tell me how we lost? It was price. That house sold for $725,000. Hello, my friend, failure. Now I really want to remind you, failure is not there to indict, shame, send you into a hole. If you will allow it, failure is going to show you who you are and, more importantly, who you want to be. And so this is what I share with you, 4 steps that I hope that you're able to enact the moment you meet your failure in your sphere. It's not if, it is when. Step 1, own it, and own it quickly. There is no time for blame, minimizing, denying, lying. Do what you need to do to stand in front of that mirror called yourself in all of your uglies and say, I have failed and I own it. And the faster you can do that, you get to step 2. Step 2, assess it soberly. Dissect it completely. Deconstruct it. This is where you get your bruised ego and your hurt emotions. There is not time. This cannot be about you anymore. One thing we need to know about failure, when you blow it, and you're trying to lick your wounds or wanting to hide, what you need to remember is you failed someone. You thrust your failure onto someone, and they did nothing wrong except trust you. Get over that as quickly as possible, because in that process of assessing and deconstructing, it reveals step 3, the most critical, the solution. Be the solution. Don't hope for a solution. Don't think a 10% discount will do it. Don't think if I just go away, I'm sure somebody else will hire me. Be the solution for that person you just failed to put them back on the road to success. In the 2 cases I've given you on the King County Library System dinner, that was a Saturday evening. By Sunday morning, I had messages both on cell phone and her landline saying, we need to talk about the Literary Lions dinner. She didn't return the calls. If you know anything about a gala chair with something like this, I am assuming she's exhausted and probably hasn't listened to any messages. So there I greeted her Monday morning before her building even opened. Outside of that building, I am holding the floor plan, the 38-table floor plan, and I am there to greet her at the door. To which she says, it's so early, you must be exhausted. What are you doing here? Oh, my friend, I have something to tell you. And before I could risk that somebody else was going to tell her, I laid it out in all of its ugliness. 5 tables, 60 guests, either were underserved or not served at all. I failed you. And here is the floor plan, and here are the tables that were affected by this. I was able to tell her that I had already begun the process of having 60 Northwest gift baskets created, not in the name of Tony's, in the name of KCLS, the King County Library System. I have to put success in her hand. I could also tell her that I had already begun the process of securing 5 gift certificates, not to Tony's, but to Tom Douglas restaurants, in the value high enough that those table hosts, those sponsors, could treat all of those guests to a very special dinner at any one of Tom Douglas's restaurant. I also can tell you, as I told her, when it was time to present the bill, of course we did not charge for 60 dinners, but I eliminated the entirety of the service fee. I'd love to tell you that she hugged me and thanked me and said, oh, you're my hero. It didn't happen at all. In fact, she was, thank you for this. I need to get to work. I put everything in her hands. And I went away quietly. I can also tell you the day that we did not get the house for Teresa, that day I got in my car and drove to that street, wrote down the address of every single house that met the criteria of what she was looking at, handcrafted letters for the owners of those houses, beautiful glossy paper telling her story, submitted the letter to Teresa, said, do I have your permission to hand stamp these and get these delivered to these homes? And she says, yes. She didn't say, yes, thank you, my hero. She says, yes, go ahead and send that out. How could we have known that in a little time something very lovely was going to happen, which leads to the 4th key. When you have done everything you can, when you have owned it, when you have assessed it soberly, when you have placed the solution back into the hands for your clients, in the famous words of that crazy snow queen from Frozen, you need to let it go, let it go, let it go. It's the most difficult step, but you do. Because I'll tell you, 3 months after I said goodbye to my King County Library System client, I got a call from her. And she said, you know, we met as a gala team, and we're thinking we want to redo the entirety of that gala. We'd actually like to invite 100 more people to it. We want to charge more, therefore we'll have more of a budget. And we don't want to do formal sit-down dinner anymore. We're thinking beautiful buffets all over that glorious little library in Bellevue. And then come the gorgeous words, would you like to be a part of that? I'm here to tell you that one of the great honors of my life was March of 2010, witnessing the success of the largest Literary Lions reception just months before I transferred ownership of that company that I was so passionate and skilled about. And in the case of Teresa, I can tell you, 3 days after those letters went out, house 2 doors down comes on the market. And I meet with Teresa and say, will you let me get you that house? And she says yes, and she lives in that house today. More square footage, better finishes. I negotiated all the mounted flat screen TVs to stay. She did have to pay $735,000. However, when I got the call from the listing agent saying, congratulations, the seller has chosen to work with your buyer, she said, you wrote a very lovely letter, and they hoped that your client, not me, your client Teresa, would be the buyer of that home. 1 week after she moved into that home, I got the privilege of putting her townhome on the market at absolutely no cost to her. We closed on that, so her boyfriend called me and said, would you like to list my condo? We're under contract on that condo right now, and I am getting paid. And last week, I met with 2 very good friends of Teresa's, 2 anesthesiologists with a $1.2 million buying budget, and through her referral, I will be working with them. So enough about me. This is my encouragement to you. I know I'm talking to successful people, people that have aligned their passions with their skills, and that you're seizing every opportunity, because I know you wouldn't be here if that weren't true. And so I want to encourage you, the next time you biff it, you blow it, you drop the ball, you underperform, I want you to remember that that thing called failure is waiting to shake your hand and show you who you are, and more importantly, who you are capable of becoming. If you can remember to own it, assess it soberly, be the solution, and let it go. And in closing, I would just like to say, never get out of that water. That water is fine. Thank you for listening.